All right, service only, man. We're back. I'm here with my man Matisse.
What's up?
What's up, bro? Good to see you back in the city.
Man.
You've been here a couple times, man. How many times you been here now? I mean, 4 or 5 times?
I've been here 4 or 5 times, I think.
Yeah, I remember you performing at Paradise.
Mm-hmm.
And then Royale.
Yeah, you guys have this really dope, you guys have this little really dope underground kind of like club that we used to play at. It's like the stage was like, the crowd would come right up to the front of the stage. I can't remember the name of it now. The something Frog or I don't know. It was like it was like 5 or 6 years ago. It's probably closed down now, but I remember
What part of the city was it in?
I can't remember. I'm terrible with club names. Yeah.
I definitely remember Paradise because I was at that show.
Mm-hmm.
I remember you was at Royale maybe once or twice.
Mm-hmm.
And now you're at the Grand, which is our newest club.
Okay.
You know, it's our most modern club. It kind of feels like a Vegas club.
I haven't seen it yet. So it's got so it's like a bottle service type of.
Yeah. A lot of the big DJs come there. Rick Ross has a residency.
Really?
Yeah, Snoop's been by there. Shaq has a residency.
And then Monday nights is the thing.
Monday nights is a hot night. Okay. I mean, they kind of go almost every night, but Mondays is a hot night. A lot of DJs come down that are pretty much known. So
okay.
It's gonna be cool to have you rock it.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm looking forward to it.
I haven't slept much yet, but
we just had a workout, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, you definitely doing as much as you can.
Yeah, you got to get me in shape for the show tomorrow. I got one more.
You got a tour, bro.
Yep.
You got to get in tour shape.
Yeah, I know.
You know? So what I wanted to kind of talk to you about is just like your journey, you know what I'm saying? So how long have you been, you know, in this space as a professional, you would say?
Well, we started Keys N Krates probably, I think, in 2007. Before that, I've been playing music since I was 4 years old, playing keys. And, I started making beats when I was 16, and I kind of had like a little collective of rappers, and I was one of 2 producers that was making beats in my hometown for we were like trying to be the Wu-Tang Clan of our town and stuff. Yeah. So, and then from there, I was like, okay, that's one thing I really want to try to learn how to be in a band. So I went and started playing in soul funk bands and started doing cover songs and playing around. I moved to Toronto and started playing the cover band circuit and like playing at weddings and, you know, parties and the Raptors games and stuff like that. And then that had a ceiling to it, and there was only so far you could get. And from there, I kind of wanted to try something different and pair up with the DJ. And my buddy Greg, Junior Flo, we kind of came together and kind of started this thing called Keys N Krates. And it was about mixing turntablism with
because you played keys.
Yeah.
And he was spinning.
He was spinning, and so we started doing that. And then I brought my boy Toon involved because he was our drummer from my funk band, and we all kind of started just rehearsing and jamming. And then Keys N Krates was born. And then 10 years later, here we are. You know, we've traveled around the world and we've done our thing and put a lot of albums out, and we're still going.
So what would you say would be the most miraculous? I guess I could say, okay, what would you say would be the most miraculous thing, or what stands out the most from this journey that is like mind blowing or unbelievable that you actually accomplished? Like, you playing around the world is definitely an amazing thing.
Mm-hmm.
Putting out albums is an amazing thing.
Mm-hmm.
Being able to rock the crowd or be in control, orchestrating an environment, that's an amazing thing. Mm-hmm. Is there any one thing that or a few things that may have stood out from your journey as an artist and a musician?
I think for me, you know, all the stuff was actually just. I still remember there was a couple nights like when I was struggling as an artist, and I was like, I really did the starving artist thing. Like, I was like, you know, trying to do any job I could and, you know, grinding it out and barely being able to pay rent for years. And I think there was a point when, you know, I remember a couple nights I had looking up at the ceiling in the middle of the night being like, man, is this dream ever going to happen?
Yeah.
And I think sometimes now, like, when it finally did happen, I think that was the miracle. Like, because it happened so much longer after when I thought would happen, you know, because you always think that, you're gonna grind for like 2 or 3 years and everything's gonna happen.
Yeah.
But like, it took me like 10 years before this became something I could do for a living. And so now I'm on the other side of that. I'm literally living a dream that I still remember when I wasn't even sure if it was ever going to happen. And I kind of sat there and I said to myself, well, if it's not going to happen, I'm still going to keep going no matter what. I don't know what's going to happen, but never going to give up. And then when I still think about that, I'm actually living this dream. and that this is a band that when I started dreaming about music and making it, couldn't even happen during that time period because technology didn't exist to make it happen.
Yeah, for sure.
That to me is what's crazy. It's like this is something that literally came out of nothing, you know, and
just a love for
just a love of music,
love of
and,
music.
And a huge leap of faith. And when I look back now, it's almost like I don't know if like your older self always looks back and like, man, you're crazy for like trying that because you have to have such blind faith to do it.
Yeah.
But from that, it gave me the confidence and the reality to know that dreams come true. And ever since then, I now know dreams come true, so I keep dreaming. And I always have faith in my dreams because I already had my biggest dream come true.
Yeah, for sure.
And so the most miraculous thing for me was that I really got to live out the idea of once you see it in your head, it can become reality. You know what I mean? And since that, I've just been living my life always dreaming and always enjoying making my dreams come true.
No doubt, no doubt. So what would you say if a younger version of you was coming up? Is there anything that you would have done differently, or is there another way that you have played it, or you feel like the route that you took to get to where you are is probably a similar route that you may have taken?
I think it's just like, you know, when we were talking earlier, I think it's just about having no fear.
Yeah.
And doing. I think there's a point when I remember when my late teens and my early 20s, I was just doing stuff because you're just young, you're just full of whatever.
So when you're young, you basically don't really have fear.
Yeah.
You're willing to do whatever.
Yeah, exactly. And then you get a little bit of success in your late 20s, you start to think twice, you start to calculate, and you have to see step 7 and 8 before you take step 1.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, and I think for a couple of years I got paralyzed with that because I needed to see step 7 and step 8. And it stopped me from doing some growth because I was afraid because of I couldn't see the whole plan. And now I'm in my 30s and it's like, I just do again. And I'm just like, I don't care. I just enjoy the process of just leap of faith and jumping. And I think Will Smith said like, everything great happens on the other side of fear.
Yeah,
and I really believe that now. Mm-hmm. And I just enjoy, there's been a lot of things this year I've been doing that literally lets me feel a certain level of fear as I'm approaching whatever my goal is. And that feeling that you get, the body tingling, the rush of blood, the doubts in your mind, I now embrace it. I almost relish it because it lets me know that my life's going to change because something on the other side of that is going to make my life better. You know what I mean? And fear to me is actually the barometer that I now judge everything by.
So if you feel fear about a certain thought or a certain move that you're gonna make, you know that's the move you should make.
Yeah, I know. I know I'm dreaming big again.
Yeah,
you know
100%.
what I mean. So you got to dream for the things you don't know you can get. You're like, that'd be nice, but it's almost like I'm kind of scared to go for that. And now I relish that because I know what can happen.
So as an artist right now, over 10 years in the game, how have you grown? So you started out playing keys, right? So you've obviously grown and evolved since then. So what other attributes or what else is in your bag as an artist and as a musician?
Well, I mean, I guess I would say I started off as a keyboard, as playing piano. Then I learned how to sing, and I was in my own band, and I was singing for a while and playing keys and learned how to play and sing together. Then I learned how to be a producer and make beats for R&B singers, and then I went from that to being a producer for rappers, which was a whole different.
Yeah.
You had to kind of like dumb down all your production and make it very simple.
It's very simple, yeah.
You know, but it taught me about how to take that raw energy and how to make a loop sound good. And then most recently, I learned how to become a DJ, which has been very fulfilling because I kind of took everything I learned and kind of rounded it all out. Now it's like, oh, okay, and now this works with this, and this works with this, and this works with this, and I feel kind of like this. It's like I've come full circle where my musical brain works with my DJ brain, works with my production brain, works with my performance brain, and they all come together. And every day of the week, I can train a part of that collective of things, and they all feed each other. And it keeps me excited about everything because one week I might be making beats, next week I might be DJing, the next week I might be performing, next week I might be practicing piano, next week I might be singing. And it's helped me become almost like, I guess, fully knowledgeable in everything musically that I do.
So you're like
well-rounded is what I say.
So you're LeBron James.
Yes. That's exactly who I am right now.
Yeah. You're LeBron James right now. You're LeBron James right now.
Yeah.
So what would you say to your point, right? To as far as growing and evolving, if there's people out there that feel like I'm a certain age or I do this well, do you still feel? I think you would probably agree, but do you still feel like there's still enough time for you to want to do something else or to evolve in your craft?
Oh yeah, I mean, I'm a fan of lifelong learning. I think people somehow they hit 30 or 32 or something and they kind of think they've learned everything, and I think everyone's really quick to want to be an expert. And I think I fall in love with always being a student. Yeah. I love being an amateur.
So you like the process?
I like the process. I love the process. I love being a student. I love being a beginner. That's where the purity is. That's where the fun is. That's where the most growth is. I found my least favorite years is when I was trying to be an expert.
Yeah, I dig it.
And I felt so much fear of having to prove that I was an expert because I had all these years, I had this diploma, and I felt like my ego was so wrapped up in me saying, oh, I've been doing this for so long, I know what I'm doing now, and I felt like once I gave that up and said, you know what, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just loving this process of learning and learn with someone, talk, spread knowledge. That was when I became a kid again. I became light. It became fun. And the pressure was off, and I think sometimes the society we live in, this capitalistic nature we live in, everyone's always quick to just want to go straight up. And for me now, it's more like I just go like this, and it's just a level playing field. But it just keeps going and it keeps going and it keeps going, and I enjoy every level I'm on now. And if it's step 1, I'll be on step 1 and love the fuck out of it until I'm on step 2. And it's just been a lot more enjoying the process.
So what about now? Are you what's your level up? Like as an artist, I know you're probably interested in growing again or growing more or expanding. Mm-hmm. So what would you say is your next challenge?
Well, I mean, I still, with Keys N Krates, we do a lot of, they probably don't, but if you don't know, we do like electronic music, and it's like a crazy party where we're playing festivals and everyone's dancing and the music's really high energy. And in fact, a lot of jams right now, if you go out, it's all high energy. And I remember for me, I've always just loved when I go to a hotel or a lounge and there's a piano there, I can just play some mid-tempo, some vibey stuff. That's just always been my vibe. And I'd love to figure out a way to take that energy and do something with it. I don't know fully what it is yet, but it's like I just always love being like a lounge pianist and a lounge singer.
So if you're coming into a hotel right now, there's some keys right there, and the lobby's full of people. You just checked in. That the piano's empty. You'll just roll up on it and stop playing?
Oh yeah, I will. It depends on the vibe in the room. Like, there's nothing I like more than to be able to change the mood in a room by the music I play. Yeah. But at the same time, the music in the room is supposed to reflect the mood. So there's also a time when you shouldn't play. I'm not someone who thinks that you should just go into the middle of the room and start playing when no one wants you to play.
Gotcha.
I used to do busking on the side of the road when I didn't make money. I used to go in Toronto and play for money, and I learned really quickly. I used to think that the best way to make money is I'd go down to Bay Street at like 6 p.m. during rush hour and start playing keys and wait for all the big rush of people to come by. And I'd make a little bit of money, but I learned that the best time to play was not to that 600 people that are rushing out of Bay Street on a Friday afternoon, but it's better to go down by the boardwalk, by the beach at 10 p.m. when that couple's walking by on the romantic night out. They're going to drop you $20, $30, $40 because you're adding to the ambiance of the night.
For sure, yeah.
So I'm a firm believer on the music the music shapes the soundtrack of our lives. So I will always go into a lounge if there's a piano at night and it's just a couple people in there because that's the space for it. Yeah. And I can add to their mood. But I will never probably go into a crowded room and just say, hey, look at me play the piano. I don't need to do that.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. That's pretty interesting, though. You know what I'm saying? So, leveling up, expanding as an artist, expanding as a creative. What about your personal journey? How are you growing as a person outside of the musician?
Well, my family was always in the church, so I grew up with a very spiritual background, with a really religious background. I'm not very religious myself now, but spirituality was always part of my life. I've always been very conscious of why I'm here, who am I, what's our purpose, things like that. So, a lot of things right now for me is more of just realizing like I have, we're all people. I really believe in the idea that everyone here is just a reflection of the higher source of power. Whatever idea comes to you is coming through you. So if I have an idea, it's not my idea. It's the idea from the creator that's coming through me, so it can be created. So I'm really enjoying being a tool.
Yeah.
And if inspiration hits me, it's no longer my ego involved. It's more like, okay, this is my job to do, because
it's your job to produce.
Yes, because I'm one piece of something. If it's giving me this idea to do a show, it's giving someone else an idea to do lights for something, and then we're gonna meet up in the same room.
100%.
You know, so I'm really enjoying that idea of just seeing what happens when you just go with pure inspiration.
I mean, that's pretty much how this came about, right?
Yeah, exactly.
I had an idea to do service only, and then here we are. This is episode 15 or 16 or whatever, and you're on this platform.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? We're having this conversation.
And you know, like once you start to trust your flow and your instinct, and you start to get really comfortable with it, it's just a current, and things become real simple after that.
Yeah.
Because you start to feel, there's certain things you feel, you're like, I'm gonna go this way, I'm gonna go this way, and it becomes very calm, and it's just like a very, very calm river, a current that you're going down, and I'm enjoying understanding that now about myself.
Is there a certain message that you feel like people now, whether it's our peers, even young people, could help them if they're stuck? Because I feel like how you just explained how the ideas come and how it flows through you, and it's your job or your responsibility to create, to produce. What about a lot of people that don't, you know, or maybe afraid to, or don't know what to do with the idea?
Well, I find most people, it comes really simple. It's like you gotta get out of here and you gotta be more here. And what happens is your first idea usually comes from here, and then as you sit with it, this starts talking to you, and you can come up with a million reasons not to do it. And I remember hearing a couple different podcasts and reading a couple things about this thing called resistance that's just in the world, which is whenever you have a big idea or anything you want to do, there's a natural force, just like gravity, called resistance, that immediately tries to stop you from doing it. And all you need to do is face that fear and sit down and do it. And I remember reading a wise quote once where someone said, you know, don't worry about if you wrote something good today or if you wrote something bad today, just did you write?
Yeah, for
and
sure.
That really made me feel, that all those negative voices you have in your head, they're not coming from you. They're just, it's an actual force. It's a measurable force that is out there. So you don't have to, when you beat yourself up because you didn't go to the gym today or you didn't write, don't take that as you being weak. That's an energy force that's doing that. What your job is just to get up and face that and say, you know what? I'm going anyway. And, you know, don't be so hard on yourself to say that you have to be perfect. Sometimes I think the worst thing with social media and Instagram is you see people's end result, the best they've ever done, and you think that your first draft has to be that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You think your first movie has to be Star Wars or something.
Yeah.
You know, so people are afraid to be vulnerable and afraid to be amateurs. And I think I would tell everyone right now to just, whatever that feeling is, that first feeling that you woke up excited when you had no fear and someone talked you out of it, you need to go back to that feeling and first have fun and just trust that that feeling is coming from your creative side, which is not from you. That's the power, that's the source. And if it's coming to you, it's coming to you for a reason. It needs to get out. Yeah. And your job is to let it get out without filtering it with all the negativity.
For sure.
And if you trust that force, it's stronger than anything, you know, it didn't come from us. It came from something else. So I really believe in that now, about like, it's not about me as an individual ego. We were all given certain talents. Certain things you love to do is for a reason. And if you do them, and you do them with your passion, with your faith, things will happen. Good things will happen. Because that's why you have those talents. And I would say to any kid right now that's in their head, you know, get out of your head and just start with step one and just do something that's fun, and remember why you want to do it in the first place, and allow yourself to let your creative mind take over and not your logical brain. And once I started doing that, everything became very simple.
Damn, bro. You know what I'm saying? I'm inspired. I'm excited, yo. I'm trying to do something, man. That was amazing. That was
Martin
amazing.
Luther King speech for the day.
100%. 100%. I think you definitely resonated with me. I know there's probably plenty of people watching that you probably connected with them.
I hope so, man. I want to see some creative ideas out there, man.
For sure, man. So appreciate your time, bro.
Respect.
You know?
Thank you, man.
Everybody check out Keys N Krates. Where can they find you on the gram?
You can find Keys N Krates at Keys N Krates. That's KeysNkrates. And then you can find me at Keys N Krates Matisse. and we'll be waiting. Come see us at a show. Let's have some fun.
Let's do it.